Have you ever wondered if the shoes you wear every day might be silently stealing your independence? What if the same comfy slippers you've worn for years are actually increasing your risk of falling? Could that favorite pair of sneakers be the hidden reason behind your nagging knee or back pain? You're not alone in asking these questions. As we age, our feet change in ways nobody warns us about, until a small misstep turns into a big problem. But here's the good news. Just a few smart changes can protect your mobility, boost your confidence, and even help you enjoy your golden years more fully. In today's video, we'll uncover 10 hidden footwear mistakes that many seniors make without realizing it, and we'll show you simple, life-changing steps to fix them. So, whether you're 65 or 85, whether you're still walking strong or just trying to stay steady on your feet, this episode is for you. Ready to take the first step toward pain-free, confident walking? Let's dive in. The name game, why we forget, and the trick to remembering. Ever found yourself mid-conversation, heart racing, eyes searching the ceiling, trying desperately to recall someone's name? Maybe it was your neighbor you've seen every week for years, or a dear friend's new grandson. The name's right there, on the tip of your tongue. Frustrating, isn't it? But here's the good news. It's not a sign that something's wrong. In fact, this name game is a completely normal part of aging, and there's a simple reason behind it. You see, our brains are like well-organized filing cabinets. Names, unfortunately, are filed in the drawer marked fragile and easily misplaced. Unlike facts or stories, names are arbitrary. They don't carry meaning in the same way. So when we're trying to recall Eleanor or Dave, we're not pulling up a story or visual, we're trying to grab a loose string with no anchor. And that becomes harder as our brain's retrieval speed naturally slows down with age. But here's what's interesting. Research shows that while name recall gets trickier, recognition remains strong. That's why you might instantly recognize a face, but freeze when it comes to the name. You know the person. You remember where you met. You can recall their voice, even their dog's name, but not theirs. That's not memory failure. It's just a delay in the brain's search engine. Let me share a quick story. My friend Joan, 72, told me she once introduced her own cousin at church as, "This lovely woman here." The room laughed. Her cousin gave her a hug, and no one thought less of her. In fact, it made her more relatable. The trick Joan learned, and now swears by, is this. Attach a visual or emotional tag to the name. When she meets someone named Rose, she pictures a rose on their shoulder. If it's Frank, she imagines them holding a hot dog. Yep, Frankfurter. It may sound silly, but that little association builds a stronger memory link. Here's a quick lesson. Names are hard because they're abstract, so give them context. Tie them to something meaningful, visual, or humorous, and be kind to yourself when the name slips away. Most people are far more forgiving than we imagine. Now, before you start thinking this is just about memory, let me ask, could your feet be quietly contributing to your forgetfulness too? It might sound strange, but in our next section, we'll uncover how your footwear affects not just your balance, but your brain. Stick around. It might surprise you. 2. How aging transforms your feet without you. Knowing when was the last time you really looked at your feet? Not just to clip a toenail or pull on socks, but to notice them. Most of us take our feet for granted, especially after decades of walking, standing, and dancing through life. But just like your eyesight, your hearing, and your joints, your feet go through big changes as you age. And those changes can quietly affect everything from your balance to your back pain. First, let's talk about fat pads. Yes, your feet have built-in cushions, especially in your heels and the balls of your feet. But around age 60, those fat pads start to thin. It's like losing the insole in your favorite pair of shoes. Every step becomes a little harder on the bones, and you might notice more soreness after standing or walking, even if you haven't done anything out of the ordinary. Then there's nerve function. The bottom of your feet is loaded with tiny nerve endings that help you sense the ground and adjust your balance. But after 65, it's common to lose up to 30% of those receptors. That means your brain is getting less feedback with each step. Add in some stiff joints and slower reaction times, and suddenly that uneven sidewalk or slippery kitchen tile becomes a much bigger hazard than it used to be. And don't forget the shape of your foot. Over the years, the ligaments that once held everything tight start to relax. Your feet may flatten, widen, or develop bunions or hammer toes that weren't there before. That's why a size 8 shoe that fit perfectly in your 40s might pinch like crazy today, or why you find yourself stumbling more even in shoes you've worn for years. Let me share what happened to Richard, a 69-year-old retired firefighter. He kept wearing the same rugged boots he'd always trusted. But after a few months of unexplained knee pain and backaches, his doctor suggested he get his gait analyzed. Turns out Richard's arches had collapsed slightly, and the boots that once protected him were now throwing off his alignment. A switch to supportive walking shoes with proper arch support made all the difference. His pain eased up in just a couple of weeks. The short lesson? Your feet aren't failing you, they're just changing. And when you understand those changes, you can support them better and keep yourself moving with confidence. So, if your feet are already changing shape and sensitivity, what about the shoes you're trusting every day? In the next section, we'll talk about one of the most common mistakes seniors make, wearing shoes that look fine but have lost their hidden support. You might be surprised just how much that still good pair is costing your health.
If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward.
The sneaky danger of still good shoes. Have you ever looked at your favorite pair of walking shoes and thought, these still look great? I'm not replacing them yet? It's a common habit, especially for those of us raised to value frugality and using things until they're used up. But here's the catch. Just because a shoe looks good on the outside doesn't mean it's still doing its job on the inside. Think of it like a mattress that's lost its support. It might look clean, no sagging springs, no rips, but after years of use, the core materials break down. The same goes for shoes. Most walking or athletic shoes lose up to 40% of their cushioning and support after just 6 months of regular wear. That means if you're wearing the same pair every day, the shock-absorbing material in the sole has likely broken down, even if the tread still looks okay. Now let's bring in a real story. My neighbor James is 74 and proud of his tidy garage where he keeps all his lawn tools and, you guessed it, his perfectly arranged shoes. For 3 years, he wore the same pair of sneakers for morning walks, grocery runs, and yard work. They looked nearly new. But then came the mysterious knee pain. At first, he thought it was just age catching up. But when his physical therapist looked at his shoes and did a simple twist test, holding the toe and heel and trying to twist the shoe, it folded like a dish rag. The structure was gone. James swapped them out for a new pair with firm midsoles, and within 2 weeks, his knee pain eased up. Here's a quick test for you. Grab your everyday shoes right now. Try to bend them in half. If they fold anywhere besides the ball of the foot or twist side to side easily, they've likely lost their support, even if the outer sole looks fine. The short lesson? Your shoes might be fooling you. Surface appearance doesn't equal internal function. A good-looking shoe can be a silent source of joint pain, instability, and fatigue. And replacing them regularly, about every 6 to 9 months if worn daily, isn't wasteful. It's protective. So you're probably wondering, what kind of shoes should I be wearing then? In the next part, we'll talk about a surprising footwear mistake that's hiding right inside your home. Something cozy, soft, and easy to slip on, but shockingly risky. Let's take a step into the world of backless slippers and see why comfort can sometimes come at a high cost. 4. Fashion. That fights you back. High heels and narrow dress shoes. We all want to look our best. whether it's for Sunday service, a wedding, or just meeting friends for lunch. And let's be honest, many of us still have those stylish dress shoes tucked away in the closet, saved for special occasions. But here's a tough truth. Some of those fashionable favorites are fighting against your health, and you may not even feel it until it's too late. High heels and narrow dress shoes, even modest ones, can do real damage over time. And we're not just talking about stilettos. Even a 2-inch heel shifts your body's weight forward unnaturally, putting intense pressure on the balls of your feet. Over time, this leads to shortened Achilles tendons, misaligned joints, and deformities like bunions or hammer toes. Men aren't off the hook either. Many traditional men's dress shoes are stiff, flat, and too narrow for aging feet. That slick leather bottom may look sharp, but it offers little traction and even less cushioning. Let me tell you about Margaret, a 70-year-old retired librarian. For decades, she wore low heels to work, what she called sensible shoes. But after retirement, she noticed growing foot pain. At first, she blamed age. Then, one day at her granddaughter's graduation, she wore a pair of her old pumps. After just a few hours, her feet throbbed, and by the next morning, her bunions had flared up so badly she couldn't walk without pain. A podiatrist later told her that years of wearing narrow heels had reshaped her feet. She now uses custom orthotics and has completely changed how she shops for shoes. So what's the short lesson here? Your shoes shouldn't just fit your outfit. They need to fit your feet as they are today, not how they were 20 years ago. That means roomier toe boxes, lower or no heels, and soft, supportive soles. Thankfully, many companies now make formal-looking shoes with hidden comfort features. You don't have to sacrifice style for safety. Here's a tip. If you're keeping a pair of occasion shoes that hurt your feet, ask yourself, is one afternoon of looking good worth a week of limping? Coming up next, we're heading from the banquet hall to your living room. You might be surprised to learn that one of the most dangerous shoe choices isn't a dress shoe or high heel, but that cozy pair of slippers sitting right by your recliner. Let's talk about how the wrong house shoes can quietly chip away at your balance and independence.
If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward.
5. Flip-flops, slippers, and barefoot bliss. Or is it? There's nothing quite like kicking off your shoes and letting your feet breathe at the end of the day. Whether it's slipping into cozy slippers, padding barefoot around the kitchen, or tossing on a pair of flip-flops for a quick walk to the mailbox, it all feels natural, right? But here's the question. Could these comfy habits actually be putting your health at risk? Let's start with flip-flops. They're light, breezy, and easy to wear, especially in warmer months, but they come with a hidden cost. With every step in flip-flops, your toes have to grip the sole to keep it from sliding off. That constant tension changes how you walk. Shorter strides, tighter muscles, and poor alignment from your feet all the way to your hips. And the thin sole? It offers little to no shock absorption. For aging joints and thinning fat pads, that's a recipe for pain and faster joint wear. Now let's talk slippers, especially the backless kind. They're a staple in many homes, especially for seniors. But when a slipper doesn't have a secure heel cup, your toes have to curl to hold it in place. This disrupts your balance and increases your fall risk, particularly on smooth surfaces like tile or hard wood. And what about going barefoot? While it might feel freeing, walking barefoot on hard indoor floors sends impact forces straight through your joints. Worse still, for those with diabetes or reduced sensation in the feet, a minor cut or bump can go unnoticed and lead to serious complications. Just ask Carl, a 76-year-old retiree who stepped on a tiny sliver of glass in his kitchen. Because of his diabetic neuropathy, he didn't feel it right away. That tiny injury became a wound that took months to heal and kept him off his feet for far too long. So what's the short lesson here? Comfort and convenience don't always equal safety. Flip-flops, backless slippers, and bare feet may feel good in the moment, but they offer no real protection or support for aging feet. Instead, look for house shoes that check 3 boxes: closed heel, non-slip sole, and cushioned insole. Many are just as easy to put on but offer far more stability and peace of mind. Now, we've talked about poor footwear habits both outside and inside the home. But what if I told you that the next mistake happens when we try to be practical? Up next, we're tackling the myth of the one good pair of shoes for everything. It sounds smart, but could actually be hurting you more than helping. Stay tuned. The one shoe for everything myth. If you're like many folks, you probably have a favorite pair of shoes you reach for no matter the occasion. Running errands? Check. Gardening? Check. Sunday lunch at your daughter's house? Still wearing them. It's simple, it's easy, and it feels smart. Why buy multiple pairs when one good pair seems to do the job? But here's the truth. The idea that one pair of shoes can meet all your needs is a myth, and a risky one at that. Different activities put different demands on your feet. Walking on pavement requires cushioning and shock absorption. Gardening means kneeling, twisting, and dealing with uneven surfaces, so you need side-to-side ankle support. And standing on hardwood floors while cooking dinner? That calls for something slip-resistant and well-padded. Let me introduce you to Darlene, a 71-year-old retired nurse. She had one trusty pair of sneakers, comfortable, broken in, and, in her words, my everything shoes. She wore them everywhere, including her backyard where she loved to tend to her roses. But over time, she started feeling more stiffness in her knees and even tripped a couple of times while stepping sideways off her garden path. Turns out, her beloved sneakers had worn treads packed with dirt from the garden, making them slippery on the sidewalk, and they lacked the lateral support needed for crouching and standing. When Darlene switched to a 3-zone system, supportive walking shoes for outings, a stable pair for gardening, and cushioned slip-resistant house shoes, her mobility improved and she felt more secure on her feet. I didn't realize my shoes were causing so much of the problem, she told me. Now I feel steadier and stronger every day. So here's the short lesson. One shoe doesn't fit all. Just like you wouldn't wear your Sunday best to mow the lawn, your shoes should match your activity. It's not about owning dozens of pairs, it's about having the right 3. Let's break it down. Zone 1, house shoes, closed back, cushioned, and slip-resistant. Zone 2, everyday shoes, supportive sneakers or walking shoes with arch support and shock absorption. Zone 3, task-specific shoes, garden shoes with grip and stability or cushioned shoes for longer walks. And here's the great part. You don't need to break the bank. Prioritize comfort and safety and look for deals or seasonal sales. Coming up next, we're going to talk about one of the smartest things you can do for your feet that hardly anyone actually does: getting a professional shoe fitting. If you haven't had your foot measured since the Reagan administration, you won't want to miss this. Let's step into it next. 7. Real fix. The right shoe for the right task. So now that we've debunked the myth of the one-shoe-fits-all approach, you might be wondering, what should I actually be wearing for all these different activities? Great question. Because having the right shoe for the right task isn't just about comfort. It's a real safety strategy that can protect your joints, prevent falls, and even relieve pain. Let's start with your home base, literally. House shoes. These are the unsung heroes of your daily routine. Whether you're making coffee in the morning or letting the dog out before bed, you need something that's slip-resistant, has a secure back, no flip-flops, and provides light cushioning. Many falls happen at home, especially on smooth surfaces like tile or hardwood. A good pair of house shoes can help prevent that with just the right grip and support. Next, your everyday support shoes. Think of these as your daily drivers. They get the most mileage. These should have proper arch support that matches your foot shape, a stable heel base, and enough cushioning to absorb the impact of walking on sidewalks or hard floors. Velcro straps or supportive laces help keep them secure. Lightweight but supportive walking shoes are ideal here. Then we have your activity-specific shoes. Doing yard work? Choose something with ankle support and tread that grips uneven terrain. Going for a long walk? Look for a flexible sole in the front with heel cushioning in the back. Even dressy shoes now come with hidden orthopedic features. You can look good and feel good. Let's talk about Harold, age 75, who loved walking in the park near his home. He wore his usual everyday sneakers until one rainy morning, his worn soles slipped on a wet wooden bridge. After that fall, he invested in a pair of walking shoes with better traction and waterproof soles. He now rotates between that pair and a sturdier one for yard work, and hasn't had a single slip since. Here's the short lesson. Just like your tools in the garage, your shoes should be task-specific. One hammer doesn't do what a screwdriver does, and one pair of shoes can't protect you in every situation. Still not sure what's best for your foot shape and stride? Don't worry, that's exactly what we'll tackle next. In the upcoming section, we're diving into one of the most overlooked but powerful steps you can take, getting a professional shoe fitting. Most people haven't done it in decades, but once you do, you'll wonder why you waited so long. Let's explore it next.
If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 7 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward.
8. Professional shoe fittings, not just for athletes. When was the last time you had your feet professionally measured? For many of us, it was back when we were kids shopping for school shoes, probably using that old sliding metal thing at the shoe store. But here's the thing. Professional shoe fittings aren't just for athletes or people with special foot issues. They're for everyone, especially as we get older. You see, our feet don't stay the same over time. As we age, tendons and ligaments loosen, arches may flatten, and feet often grow wider. In fact, studies show that most people gain at least a half size in width after age 60. But many of us keep buying the same size we've worn for decades, simply out of habit. That can lead to pressure points, blisters, bunions, and even nerve pain. Let me share a quick story. Linda, a 68-year-old former teacher, was experiencing chronic foot and hip pain. She assumed it was arthritis, and her doctor agreed, until she went to a specialty shoe store and got professionally fitted. Turns out, she had been wearing shoes a full size too small in width. Once she started wearing shoes that actually fit her feet, shaped for her real arch and heel alignment, her pain decreased dramatically. I didn't realize how tight my shoes were until I tried on the right pair, she told me. It was like breathing room for my feet. A good fitting goes far beyond just length. A trained fitter will measure both feet while standing since our feet spread under body weight. Check width in multiple places, not just the toe box. Assess your arch height and flexibility. Watch your gait, how you walk, to recommend the right type of support. Look for comfort-focused shoe stores or orthopedic retailers, not just big-box chains. Ask if the staff are trained in geriatric or therapeutic fittings. And don't be shy about asking questions. Am I putting more pressure on one foot? How does my arch affect my shoe choice? What support features should I look for? The short lesson? Feet change, and so should your shoes. Getting professionally fitted once a year can prevent pain, reduce fall risk, and extend your independence. Now that you know your correct size and shoe type, what if your favorite pair still causes discomfort? Before you toss them out, there's one more powerful solution to explore: custom orthotics and smart shoe adjustments. Coming up next, we'll dive into how you can turn almost any shoe into a therapeutic tool for your feet. Stay with us. 9. Orthotics. Prescription for pain-free steps. Let's say you've bought better shoes, had a proper fitting, and are rotating the right pairs for each task, but something still feels off. Maybe it's a nagging heel pain, soreness in the ball of your foot, or even aches in your knees and hips. That's where orthotics come in, your secret weapon for turning good shoes into great ones. Now, when people hear orthotics, they often picture big, clunky inserts or imagine they're only for serious foot conditions. But the truth is, orthotics are simply supportive insoles designed to fit your feet. They help correct your walking pattern, absorb shock, and distribute pressure more evenly. Think of them as the custom-tailored suit of footwear made to support your unique stride. Let me tell you about Dennis, a 73-year-old retired mechanic who loved morning walks but dreaded the foot pain that followed. He tried new shoes, cushioned socks, nothing worked. Finally, his doctor recommended heat moldable orthotics. They cost about $40 and could be warmed in the oven to mold to his feet. Within 2 weeks, Dennis was walking 2 miles a day with zero pain. "It felt like my shoes finally understood me," he joked. There are 3 main types of orthotics. Over-the-counter insoles. Found at most pharmacies, these offer basic support and are better than nothing, but they're generic. Heat moldable orthotics. A great middle ground, affordable, customizable, and easy to use. Custom orthotics, prescribed by a podiatrist, molded from your foot shape, and often covered by Medicare if linked to specific conditions like diabetic neuropathy or plantar fasciitis. And it doesn't stop at inserts. Small shoe modifications like arch pads, heel lifts, or professional stretching can breathe new life into an old pair and save you hundreds in replacement costs. Here's the short lesson. The best shoe in the world won't help much if it doesn't match your foot's needs. Orthotics fill in the gaps, literally. They're like adding memory foam to a bed that wasn't quite right. And the impact goes beyond your feet. Better support means better alignment, less joint stress, and greater confidence with every step. That's a big deal when it comes to reducing fall risk and staying active. Coming up next, we'll bring it all together with an inspiring story of transformation. You'll meet someone who put all these steps into practice and went from fearing a fall to hiking with his grandkids. Don't miss this powerful reminder of what's possible when we take our feet seriously. Let's walk into our final chapter together. 10. Thomas's comeback, from fall risk to family hikes. Let's wrap up our journey with a story that proves just how powerful small changes can be. Meet Thomas, a 72-year-old retired teacher who once considered giving up his daily walks. Like many, he brushed off his foot pain as just part of getting older. He wore the same worn-out loafers he'd had for years, trusted one pair of sneakers for everything, and figured slippers were fine as long as he wasn't going far. But one rainy morning in the kitchen changed everything. Thomas slipped on a tiny patch of water while wearing smooth-soled loafers. The fall fractured his hip and landed him in the hospital. The doctors told him he might never walk without assistance again. It was a wake-up call, not just for him, but for his entire family. His independence, his mobility, even his confidence were suddenly at risk. But Thomas wasn't ready to settle for that fate. With help from his physical therapist and some solid advice from a podiatrist, he took his recovery one step at a time, literally. First, he had a professional shoe fitting. Turns out he'd been wearing shoes a full size too narrow for decades. Then, he adopted the 3-zone system: supportive house shoes, everyday sneakers with proper cushioning, and outdoor walking shoes with extra grip for uneven terrain. He also invested in heat-moldable orthotics, which eased the pressure on his arches and knees. No more generic drugstore insoles. These were made for his feet. And slowly, the change began. Within 2 months, he was walking short distances without pain. By month 4, he was back to morning walks in the park. And last fall, Thomas did something he thought he'd never do again. He hiked a nature trail with his grandchildren, proudly keeping up as they explored every twist and turn. "My 9-year-old grandson asked why I never hiked with them before," he shared. "I couldn't bring myself to say I was scared of falling. But now, I'm not scared anymore." Here's the lesson. It's never too late to turn things around. A few smart, thoughtful changes, understanding how your feet have changed, choosing the right shoes for every situation, and adding support where you need it, can transform your life. Not just physically, but emotionally, too. So if Thomas can go from fearing a walk across his kitchen to hiking in the woods with his family, just imagine what's possible for you. Now, before you go, let's do a quick recap and a few action steps you can take today. And if you found this journey helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We've got even more life-changing tips coming your way. Let's close out with a look back at the 8 footwear mistakes to avoid and the 3 game-changing solutions that can keep you moving forward. As we grow older, it's easy to overlook the little things, like the shoes we wear every day, thinking they're too small to matter. But as we've seen, those small choices can have a profound impact on our mobility, independence, and quality of life. The real lesson here is this: aging doesn't mean giving up your freedom. It means learning to support your body in new, smarter ways. Just like we adjust our diet or medications with time, we must also adjust how we care for our feet. Our steps may slow, but with the right support, they can still carry us to beautiful places, be it a walk with a loved one, a grandchild's soccer game, or simply a pain-free stroll through the park. Every step counts. And when we invest in comfort, safety, and thoughtful choices today, we're not just protecting our bodies, we're protecting the life we want to keep living. Because aging with strength, dignity, and joy isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters, with confidence.
Thank you for joining us today. We would love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today, how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue to create great content to inform and inspire you. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.